affects all of you, including myself, and it's one that I think all of you guys are going to agree with. And that is the historically high tuition of public universities in the United States of America. Hi, I'm Blake Arold, and I've done extensive research into why tuition is so high in this country, and I personally feel the pain of the high tuition because I've gone into debt for school. And according to my audience analysis, about 40% of you guys have also gone into debt to pay for school, so you guys can feel my pain and understand, that tuition is too high and it should go down. Today I'm going to explain the causes of the high and ever-rising tuition in public universities, and I'm going to tell you guys what you can do about it and what the state and schools should do about it. There are several contributing factors that are driving tuition higher and higher in public universities. The first one is the excessive spending of universities. According to the Atlantic Journal, colleges are mostly competing with each other for prestige and status. And in order to do this, a lot of colleges, to compete with each other, will build all kinds of new facilities and new classrooms, and they also put a lot of money into new research. You see these buildings coming up in the business side of the school. That all costs money, and it's coming from the university. And say U of A breaks through with some research in a certain field, ASU, in fact, is going to feel the need to research and try and break through in that field as well in order to keep up. So it's really the research and the infrastructure in schools that are competing that's driving prices up. The universities are spending a lot of money. Let's see. Although the schools themselves are part to blame, though, the state is really the biggest problem. The biggest reason tuition is so expensive now is because of state budget cuts. So let's look at California, for example. This is my home state. The California State Controller's Office stated that only 11% of the state funds are going to higher education. And in contrast to that, 40% of the state's budget is going to healthcare and human services. The same trend is happening in many other states as well. According to USA Today, the average tuition in the U.S. for four-year schools has climbed 15% between 2008 and 2010. And in states like Arizona, California, and Georgia, you can find over a 40% increase in tuition in those 2 years, between 2008 and 2010. That's outrageous, right? I think that's pretty crazy. I don't think that's fair at all to the students. Like our generation kind of gets screwed by this. However, we are also used to paying for too much. We're also used to paying for college. It's just a fact. Most kids leave school with debt. The national press release states that the average college student graduates with $25,000 in student loan debt. College tuition has consistently outpaced what people can pay for out-of-pocket costs. So that would make, so debt basically has been the safety valve of higher education. A lot of people can't pay out of pocket for college, and they have to go into debt to pay for school, and it's almost a very accepted thing that people have to go through, is going into debt for college. It's a normal thing because college prices have always consistently outpaced what most people can pay out of pocket. In order for tuition to go down and our debt to subside, the university firstly needs to stop spending so much money. Gradually, universities need to cut back on their spending, in facilities and in research. I'm not saying they shouldn't be putting in money for research and construction, because these are what makes colleges appealing to people and makes people choose one college over another. But it's quite excessive. I don't know how much we need these buildings over here, how much research really has to be thrown into this or that, but tuition has raised too much in these past years, and spending needs to go down. Basically, that's the bottom line for universities. Also, the states need to be aware that student loan debt is the highest debt in this country. It's higher than credit card debt, and that's just common knowledge now. That's the highest debt that's plaguing this country. And we need people in office, we need people at the state level that are really aware of this and that are committed to lowering tuition for students. We need more money from the state going towards higher education and less going to like healthcare and human services. Because higher education, this is the next group, these are the next batch of kids, people that are going to be coming up into society and trying to make a difference. And if we can't pay for school, or if we're going into debt for school, that's gonna drive us away from going to universities. That's why over half of kids now attend community colleges, according to the national press release. So if the states and the schools both cut back on spending in other areas and focus more on lowering tuition, a lot of our debt would subside. People would not have to go into so much debt for school, and you know, it'd be a lot easier to pay for college, a lot more stress-free also. And then, as far as what we can do our own research into what representatives really support lower tuition for kids, and then we can vote yes on lower tuition for schools. There's not a whole lot we can do individually, but together and as a country, there is something we can do. So today I talked about the causes of the extremely high tuition in this country and why they're continuing to rise. And I also outlined some of the solutions that we can kind of put into action and to lower these tuition costs because they're way too high. Personally, I don't feel it makes any sense for people to go into debt, you know, to go to school, because the whole purpose of college is to get us ahead in the world so we can have a career and make money. You know, that's basically what we're trying to do. So, you know, graduating from school with $25,000 to $30,000 in student loan debt doesn't make any sense to me. And I would think that the state and even the federal government could do things to stop that from happening, because it really is, it's a detriment to all of us and we all have to pay for it, and it's not fair. So that's the bottom line. It's not fair. You know, all of your parents were able to go to college for much cheaper than we are. We go to school for so much money, and classes are getting bigger, and we're spending less time with professors for that more money. So, I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. Hopefully it doesn't make sense to you, and you guys will look into this more and try and take action yourselves. Thank you.